how do you talk to your doctor about testosterone? Because we don't want women to leave this conversation, be all excited, and then meander into their doctor's office only to be shut down. So is there a way to talk effectively to our doctor about testosterone?
I mean, this is in general problem right now. But after the Women's Health Initiative, we have 2 decades of clinicians that didn't learn how to prescribe hormones because the WHI, it wasn't the WHI so much as the media of the WHI said hormones are bad for people. So we stopped teaching people how to do it. Right. And now we have 80 million women over the age of 40 getting empowered to be the healthiest they can be. Right. So that's a hormone conversation. And so the best way, I think, is by calling ahead and saying, does Dr. Jones prescribe testosterone for women? Like, find out ahead of time if it's going to be a friendly conversation. If you already have an established relationship with a provider, great. You probably have a better chance than going in cold, not knowing if this person's open to it. And bring them in the international global consensus on testosterone for libido, because that's really validates and says, it's been around forever. Safety is great. This is how we do it. I have a course from the Heather Hirsch Academy where I'm like, I want clinicians to know it's safe. We've been doing it for decades, that we actually have data that says it's effective. And at the end of the day, if you're on it for 4 to 6 months and it's not helping you with anything, you could stop it. It's pretty low hanging fruit with a massive safety profile. And, I said this at the FDA is like, what other drug do we give people 10 times the safety dose and follow them for 50 years and then publish on it and say the people who took 10 times the dose did well for 50 years. And then we still just don't give the regular dose to women because we're like, I don't know if it's safe or not. Right? Like we do that. We have there are a 30-year and a 50-year trans male data where we give female bodies 10 times the safety dose and they do just fine. Right. And so for people to be like, it's not safe, it's like, we give 10 times the dose to people because they ask for it and they like it and they do fine.
And is there anything that women should know once you go on it? Like, as far as, like, I'll just share my testosterone experience. When I first went on it, and maybe I went at too high of a dose too quick, but the rage, the irritability was real.
And
all
high,
of a sudden
Mindy,
I thought, I know. All of a sudden I was like, is this how men feel? Oh my God. But I also want to tell you that the orgasms were through the goddamn roof. I'm like, oh, is this what men feel? Like, there was like, I really had walked around for like a week going, oh, is this how men deal with this hormone? But I didn't like the rage, and I found out later it was too high. Anything else we need to know about what we can expect when we get on it?
I mean, this is what I joke with women is like, there are some women that 2 weeks on it, they're like light switch, brains back on. The one woman said, you know that part in The Wizard of Oz where you go from like black and white to Technicolor? That's my brain on testosterone, right? So it's like some women are like light switches and they're like, aha, I'm back. And I'm like, and then everybody else hates those women because it takes longer for everybody else, right? Like not everybody gets the light switches. And so to me, I'm like, if you're dosed low and slow, it might take a while. Right? And libido is a biopsychosocial thing and muscles take a while to build. And like, it takes a while and that's okay. Don't push it high just so you try to get a light switch. I recently had some women and I'm like, is testosterone doing anything for you? It's been like 4 weeks. Can you tell? And she's like, I don't know yet, but I did have 2 days this week where I felt completely invincible. And I'm like, take the win. Like, let's think it's working. Another woman with sexual health issues. I'm like, anything with the testosterone yet? And she's like, I don't know, but I had amazing sex last night. My partner actually wrote me a thank you letter the next day. And I'm like, take the win. Like, right? Yes, take the win. And so like, my point is it's subtle. Like clearly these women are noticing that life is a little bit different, but it's not a massive light switch for people. And it's like, to me, that's the perfect hormone where it's like, you're just functioning a little bit better, but you're still yourself, right? You're not having these huge side effects. But a lot of people think like, where's the light switch? And it's like, that's not how it works when you're appropriately dosed. You're not like, oh my God, I'm angry. Oh my God, my hair fell out. Like, we don't want that to happen to you.
We don't want that. No, the anger's no fun.
It's no fun.
So if you go low and slow, what are you looking at as a clinician? Are you looking at, okay, over 6 months, 9 months?
4 to 6 months is what the guidelines say. And they're like, if no benefit, decide to take it or not. I mean, there are some women who they want to take it for preventative health. Like, my ovaries aren't coming back online. I know this helps bone strength.
Right.
The data on testosterone in the brain and dementia prevention in men exists. It also, like, men with low testosterone, increased risk of depression, increased risk of dementia, increased risk of Parkinson's disease, increased risk of multiple sclerosis, and their bodies aren't that much different than ours. And how does testosterone work? It's a neurohormone. It helps myelin sheaths. It helps glia survive. It helps our brain. And so some women, if they're like, hey, my libido's not all that much better, but I actually want to take this because I think long term, it's probably good to have a little bit of this in my body. So, you can decide at 4 to 6 months, do you want to stop? Is this worth it for you? Do you like it?
And once you're on it, do you stay on it forever? Is it like something you just keep going?
And I always tell women to think about it. Are you getting an ovary transplant? Is the ovary coming back at age? Is the ovary coming back at age 68? Yeah. Now, interestingly, physiologically, women later in life, in their 70s, there is some data that shows testosterone starts going up again. Where's it coming from? Why is it doing that? We don't know, but it's likely core. The women with the higher, and again, higher physiologic, this is not 10 times the dose, right? Physiologically, women whose bodies make higher testosterone later in life seem to have heart protective benefits from it. So,
and that's natural? That's a natural state of
uptake.
Women?
So testosterone does not fall off a cliff with menopause, right? There's nothing magical about your last period that makes testosterone drop. Testosterone just naturally starts to decrease from your 20s onward, just slow, linear decrease it with age.
Right.
But there's a hockey stick for some women in their 70s where it'll kick up a little bit. We don't know why, but they tend to have less heart disease.
Right.
So it's fascinating.
I wonder why the body.
We don't know.
Why would the body
the body probably doesn't have any evolutionary benefit to that because there's no survival benefit as a species living to 72 versus 78, right? So there's probably no grand design, but we don't know.
Maybe the modern body is like, hey, you made it this far. We're going to give you a little extra juice because you passed made go it and you deserve
72 times. So here's a little help.
Right.
But so to answer the question, by and large, the ovaries aren't coming back online. You take testosterone, you like it, you stay on it.
Yep. Got it. Okay, talk to me about libido, because one of the things I loved about the way you write about libido throughout your book, but especially in the testosterone chapter, is that we don't have clear evidence that there's a direct correlation between low testosterone and libido. Can you speak on that? Because if libido is a mood, we also have the statistic of, 70% of divorces are initiated by women as they go through menopause. And I hear so many women that are like, my libido is horrible and I've been married to my husband for 20, 30 years. I feel like libido needs a rebrand, especially for the menopausal woman.
I mean, libido is an amazing, awesome, big topic. And that's why I started. My podcast originally was started for adult female sex ed. And my first book called You Are Not Broken, Stop Shooting All Over Your Sex Life is all about adult female sex ed. Because libido is, and I hated the word biopsychosocial. I hated it. I go to the Ishwish conferences and I'm like, oh, it sounds so PhD and blah, blah, blah. But there is no better word to describe libido than biopsychosocial, because it's our biology, it's our hormones. How well are you sleeping? How stressed are you? Do you exercise? Do you feel good in your body? So bio, psycho, social. So psycho is how do you feel about sex? Were you told it was bad and dirty your whole life? How are you taught about touching yourself? How's your body image? What does society tell you? That's the social. What does society tell you about being a woman who's sexual at age 62? Right? How much do you listen to that?
Yep.
And who initiates sex in your partnership? And when you have sex, who gets to have the orgasm? When does sex end? When one person has an orgasm? Right? So sex is so big of a topic that should just, women are like, my testosterone's not working, my libido's not better. Or I'll see clinicians, they'll be like, I gave my patient testosterone and her libido's not better. And I'm like, it's not just testosterone.